let's go over on how to create your first program into the board. I have here the board connected through the USB cable, ready to be programmed. I don't know what is the original code that comes in your board when you buy it, but let's assume that it comes like this. I'm going to start Atolik, and the first thing is that Atolik is going to ask you where is your workspace. I like to keep things organized, and under a specific folder I have a folder called Atolik's project, and this is where I'm going to keep all the projects, everything organized. So I have the IDE pointing specifically for that folder. Once is up and running, you are presented with this view, and the first thing that we do, file, new C project. We're developing an embedded C project. Let's give a name. I'm going to call Blink LED. Then I'm going to pick the family, the board that I'm programming, the STM32F. It's a board, and I'm doing the discovery. I can be a little bit more specific. The difference between these two is the amount of flash and RAM that you have available. I'm going to use this one. Floating point unit, we know that we have a floating point unit available in this board. We can just do software implementation. I'm going to leave this the way that it is. Code location, going to flash, instruction set, and the way that things are organized in memory, little endian. Uses this library for the instruction set. Nothing new here. I'm going to use the ST-Link to debug and program the board. Press finish, and now the IDE is going to generate the template project for this board. And we'll go over a couple of details here. Just bear with me, be patient. Might be a little bit long for the first time that you're doing this. Alright, so here you go. This is the development environment. You have details here about your project, access to the C file, .h file, assembly files. This is where you're going to write your code. This is the console output and some analyzers for your memory if you want to get more information about the memory. Now, when you create your main C, that is a particular thing that you need to pay attention for the Atolik projects, which is these lines of code need to be present in any code that you do. If you remove these lines of code, your project is not going to be compiled or deployed into the board. So make sure that you leave these lines of code at the end of your project, and then you do the rest of the code over there. Alright, so if I double click, I can get a little bit more space here to program. Starts with a bunch of comments, imports two libraries, and then it has the main function, declares a variable here, then uses these functions to initialize the LEDs and turn them on, and then enters in an infinite loop. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to build. Nothing to build because I didn't change any code. Build is done using this icon over here, the hammer. And then the debug is the one that you use to deploy the code into your board. There is a chance when you press the debug the first time, you're going to see this window popping up, the ST-Link upgrade. So make sure that your device is connected, and you can press device connect and then just upgrade the firmware if it's needed. Just say yes, and we'll upload the new firmware inside of the board. Once that is done, when you press the debug, it's going to enter this edit configuration, so it's connected to your project. It's going to enter debug view. So it changes a little bit the development environment. Now I have access to registers, variables, and your code over here. Notice that the code is ready to execute, is waiting for you to give the command to start, and that's done using this resume. I press, and as you can see, the LED is turned on, the code is up and running. If I press terminate, the development environment goes back to the programming mode, but the code it's still running inside of your board. So let's go over the blink LED really quick. We can probably copy this one, create the for loop. I'm just going to give random zeros over here, and then increment, and I can press Control Space, and it's going to give me options so I can complete that command. I'm going to do the LED off and the same LED 3. I believe it's going to be the orange LED, and then same for loop. I'm going to compile. You can press the debug right away. The debug compiles and then deploys the code. And I press play, and here you go. The orange LED is blinking. That's pretty much all you need to know to create new projects and have an LED blinking. And let me know if you have any questions.